3, 2, 1.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. Thank you for joining us today on our 5th episode of the Rafida Roundtable. And today we have our podcast titled World War III. A bit of a catchy title, a little controversial, but that's what's been trending on Twitter. Everyone woke up a few days ago with that hashtag as the number one trending hashtag. So people are obviously thinking about this and very worried about what's been happening recently. We have, of course, the irresponsible move of the American government, the reckless move, of course, with the killing of Soleimani. But before I do go into that, I'll just introduce my guests again. Here on my right, I have 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗏𝗟𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗏. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you for joining us today. We have on our left here David from France. How are you doing, brother? Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
We do have as well 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗏𝗏𝗍, who's with us, and he'll be with us shortly, in any second actually. But today's topic, of course, so we're talking about this situation, very relevant, very important topic. And before I open the topic here, I do want to bring up one interesting thing, which when this occurred, it struck me, or it reminded me of something called a doomsday clock, or the doomsday clock, which is a clock published by an academic journal titled Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. It's a journal that's been publishing since 1947, quite an old academic journal. It's quite known culturally. I'm not sure if you brothers have heard of it. The doomsday clock it's a symbolic clock. It's not a real clock. It's a symbolic clock which is counting down to midnight. And the closer the clock is to midnight, the more likely, or the bigger risk this journal is claiming that we are to an atomic bomb going off. Basically, World War III, you could say. This clock's been the journal's been publishing since 1947, but the atomic clock's been since 1991. And the first edition of this clock was in 1991, published 17 minutes to midnight. So again, I said closer to midnight. The closer to midnight, the more likely they see it as an atomic bomb will go off. So the more hectic the political situation will be, the more tension there is, the closer the clock will be to midnight. From 1991 to 2001, the clock went from 17 minutes to 7 minutes to midnight. A 10-minute increase within that period. Each year them publishing a new time. It went from 7 minutes edition was 2 minutes to midnight, very close to midnight. This is I wonder what that will be. And that's just something interesting, because of course the situation is very hectic. It's been very tense in the Gulf region for quite a while. But going into the main topic, and I do want to say hello to 𝗦𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗍. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyid.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thanks for joining us. How's everything? May Allah bless you. So, we have this situation. We have, of course, on the 3rd of January, as well as 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and a few others, I believe. Abu Mahdi,
the chief of the Popular Mobilization Committee.
Killed by a drone strike at his or in his convoy near Baghdad International Airport via Trump's orders. Also, he says that he ordered this to happen.
Yeah.
As I said before, of course, very reckless. I don't think anyone's supporting him other than hardliner nationalists in America on such a silly, a risky maneuver.
Yeah.
He was identified initially by the ring on his finger. That's what I saw, at least.
Yeah,
this picture with his ring.
We don't know exactly if it's true picture or not.
Yeah. Yeah,
We are not sure that's him.
that's what the news was saying, the spreading, isn't it? This picture with his hand in the dirt with this ring. But I think they done DNA testing, or it was officially announced either way, and that led up to the situation we find ourselves in now. Can somebody give us a timeline? Because maybe some viewers aren't too filled in on exactly where we find ourselves in this position. There were a few key events, sort of a trigger domino effect. I don't know if David remembers the first kind of one that triggered this to happen.
The first thing was the Americans. They made an attack on a base
On the yes, the air base,
of a pro-Iran militia.
the K1 air base, yeah.
Yeah, so they killed 25 people. It was the first step, I think. No, there's before that. There's what's happened exactly before.
I think you're referring to when you're referring to the U.S. airstrike against the 𝗓𝗡𝗦𝗬𝗓 position in Iraq and Syria, which killed 25 and wounded killed 25 and wounded 55.
Yeah, exactly.
But why were U.S. saying that they attacked that they carried out this airstrike? From what I remember, it was because allegedly there was a American civilian contractor killed during the K1 airbase attack in Kirkuk, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Sayed.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so there was an American civilian contractor killed. But can that really be the reason? That's debatable. That's what they're claiming, as well as some other attacks that occurred. But following the airstrike, so then you have the U.S. airstrike, 29th of December, 2019. You have U.S. airstrike attacking the Iranian-backed Kataib Hezbollah position in Iraq and Syria. That's with the 25 killed and 55 wounded. That was followed up on the 31st of December, where the Kataib Hezbollah militiamen attacked the U.S. embassy in the area which America refers to as the Green Zone.
Yes, so it's the front wall of Baghdad, actually.
Yeah, or the international zone, however you would like to refer it to. I did read as well that there was graffiti on the U.S. embassy saying Qasem Soleimani is our leader. I don't know if I didn't verify if that was the case or not. I didn't see any pictures of it, but apparently on the U.S. embassy they graffitied. Did you hear this?
I didn't see it.
Qasem Soleimani is our leader. I don't know if that's some type of propaganda to justify things that happen, but at least we know it was the Kataib Hezbollah militiamen. And then, of course, that comes to the 3rd of January, when the world was shocked by the assassination of Soleimani,
Yes.
and Abu Mahdi al-Muhandisi, and the few others that are with him from #Jabi. Who can we speak a bit about who Qasem Soleimani is? Why is he so important? What's his role? What has his role been in that region? And why has there been such a fuss about him being killed? More than, for example, Abu Mahdi al-Muhandisi. David, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, he was the leader of the Al-Quds Brigade, which is a force from Iran. He was very high in the rank in the Iranian regime. He was the second one after Khamenei. The second important one is Soleimani after him. He was famous since a very long time in Iran. Actually, if you go to the country, you will see his picture everywhere. He's very well famous.
Was that Al-Quds you said, yeah? Just to make it clear,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, he was famous because he started to do the war against Iraq in the 80s.
The Iraq-Iran war, yeah.
He done that, and he done a lot of stuff, and he was very famous recently because he defeated, let's say, he was working of the defeat of Daesh and al-Nusra and all of this stuff in Iraq and Syria. That's why he was very, very famous. Yeah. And it was very shocking to see the USA, they target someone like that.
High-profile person to that level. Yeah. They say he's known for basically, from what I've understood, he's like the architect for Iran's shadow warfare that they carry out within that region, within their plans for military expansion in the Middle East and whatnot. He's the strategist or whatnot, the one who's masterminded various things. So he's someone who is very important for the Iranian regime, and has become someone who's symbolized. You always see those videos. He's basically got celebrity culture.
He was second in command after Khamenei, Soleimani.
Yeah.
I mean, any negotiations you do in that region, for the Americans to do in that region, they have to go through him.
Yeah. he was like a celebrity basically. I remember I was seeing some videos when he walks, any place he walks through, there's like crowds around him, people wanting to speak to him and whatnot. He really had that celebrity culture. But we'll talk about our views in terms of where we stand exactly. And I will mention quickly to the YouTube chat, if you do have any questions, please do throw them in. We'll be trying to take a few. It won't be like our last podcast where we had an open Q&A where we focused with the questions. But if there's anything interesting, we'll take in. If I can request Ahmed to keep an eye on the YouTube chat, if you don't mind, brother.
Sure.
Okay, so that's who Qisim Soleimani is. And of course, there's a lot of history that one can go into and what he's done, how he rised up during the Iraq-Iran war, why so and whatnot. But we won't be going into that much detail. A question that came through from one of the viewers before the podcast was about the Iraqi government. And this actually came in the day we announced the podcast. The question in general, if I can recall it, I haven't got it right now with me, is where is the Iraqi government in all this? And of course, at the time, there wasn't any reaction yet from the Iraqi government. And I think there had been from other parties. So has the Iraqi government said anything, done anything? Where did the Iraqi government stand on this?
I mean, from what I heard today, I think it was on the BBC. Apparently,
this morning.
Yeah, apparently the parliament.
I think this
the
evening.
Iraqi parliament.
In the evening, yeah.
Yeah, in the evening, they voted for the American troops to leave Iraq.
Yeah.
To be honest, in my opinion, I think it's a good call, and I think the Iraqi government can hit two birds with one stone and get rid of the militias that support Iran and telling them, okay, it's time for you to hand in your weapons to the government, and also tell the Americans leave, and then you'll get rid of the whole issue, and if they want to continue their war and their mess, they can take it elsewhere, and you could save a lot of lives by doing this. But the problem is, if the Iraqi government now turns around and just tells the Americans to leave, and also and just leave Iran, how things are all great and lovely with them. It's not. I don't think it's going to go very.
But David, you were telling me they were leaving. They
actually some of them they're leaving because
was this before or after the Iraqi government's decision?
No, it was before. Because last night there's some attack on the US base in all over Iraq, and some base they move them to Syria.
Yeah.
To 𝗓𝗓𝗓 in Syria to be more protected, because they know that they can make an attack directly on this specific place in the north of Syria, which is not controlled by Bashar al-Assad. This place.
I think,
David, is it the normal the workers of US, members of US, or is it the troops that are leaving?
What's the troops? The troops.
Yeah, as the troops. Oh, okay.
But I think yesterday America announced a state of emergency and requested any Americans to leave.
But it was before
any personnel.
Even UK did.
Yeah,
I think even the UK did. They said no one to travel to Iraq. At this moment.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say, David?
It was even before yesterday. Since the attack of the embassy, they asked all the US citizenship to leave.
Yeah, and I think around the same time, Hezbollah announced for any of their supporters or even troops to stay away from American. I should have the quote before I quote it.
Yeah, they asked every Iraqi citizen, everyone in Iraq to stay away from the US base.
Yeah, US base, exactly. Yeah.
But it's happened. It was yesterday, and it's happened this previous night.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said something like keep 1,000 meters.
Yeah, 1,000 meters.
1,000 meters away.
Yeah. So that's the Iraqi government's position. They're telling they want America out completely. We'll have to see what happens and how Trump reacts to that. Obviously, Trump's going on a wild one on Twitter. I have to just mention before I go on to the next point here, as a side note, even though it's not really a side note, I'm always taken aback by the situation that I'm just sitting at home on Twitter, and I'm reading the most powerful leader in the world tweeting about these kind of stuff. It's like I don't know what world I'm living in anymore. For me, it's so strange, and it's of course how childish it is, firstly, but how reckless it is. How are we sitting? I'm just thinking, take it back to the days when we were on MySpace or the old social media in the initial times. Could you imagine a day where you'd be on social media and you'd have the most powerful man tweeting, and even the sentence he says, grammatically upside down, capital letters, bold, saying the most, immature, irresponsible things that one could do in these situations. We live in a strange time. Really, we live in a strange time.
But that's part of the strategy.
Yeah. Great strategy. Does Trump have a strategy? I was reading an article the other day.
I think he has.
I don't think he has. Yeah,
he has, because what he's done exactly, he attacked Iran at this moment because he have a procedure of impeachment in USA.
Yeah,
and he want to move the attention from the impeachment to the war with Iran. And that's a good tactic for him to move from this.
I was reading about this actually. There's different things analysts are saying, right? I even was reading one analyst who literally he thinks that Trump doesn't have a strategy, just acts on impulses, and his team and the White House are trying to keep him under control. But from this angle, when it comes to him trying to detract from the impeachment, this is one of the views that people have, and also because Trump tweeted during Obama's campaign.
Yeah.
You saw that Trump tweeted.
It'll be nice if we can.
I don't know if Subhan can find it. We didn't prepare it. If you can find Trump's tweet about Obama, there's a lot of articles online about it. Trump tweeted, and during Obama's campaign, Trump tweeted, Obama is I don't want to misquote it. That's the problem. But it was regarding war and how Obama is carrying out these actions and whatnot related to war in order to win the campaign.
Yeah.
And then people are saying, "Oh, Trump, what's going on here now in your situation?" But then something interesting that I was reading on this topic as well with Trump trying to use this strategy. Apparently, the statistics, and David, you should know this. You're a statistics guy. The statistics show that all the presidents that have done such a thing, it has not helped them win any campaign or stay as president or gain any popularity vote. If you look back, even the U.S.-Iraq war, in that time. When the war was announced and when Bush took his stance, there was a spike in support. A lot of can't remember. It went up to like 84%. I think I had the statistics here somewhere, but
they support. But then
it goes. No, but that's the thing. I'm saying if you look at all the past presidents, there was a study. They looked at all the past presidents, and there's a spike that comes up, but then it goes down very quickly. Within a month or two, it goes down. There's no long-term benefit from it. So that being, whether that's Trump's strategy or not, that's one story. But whether it being even beneficial for him to do,
but
history shows that it doesn't help him.
Yeah, but we have to say some things like there's big difference between what he's done and what the Bush done with Iraq. It's like now he will make a war against Iran, but I don't think he will send troops and invade Iran and go in all the land. He will not do it. He will just some point. He will attack some place and kill some people.
Well, they sent 3,000 troops, didn't they? Towards yeah, of course, but
that's not.
It's a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but I don't think he will.
It won't escalate beyond that.
Yeah, he don't want to escalate.
I do have questions about escalation. One brother asked on, but I want to cut in here. I want to quickly mention, because I want to ask you guys again about this escalation situation. Where is it going? Again, we titled the podcast World War III, and a lot of people are concerned about what will happen. Even if it's not World War III, in the definition of World War III, it could escalate to something else. That's what people are concerned about. Before we do that, I want to just speak about the context here, the history between Iran and America, Iran and USA, in terms of their tension. I have a quick timeline here. I want to breeze through it, just so we can understand why this tension exists. I mean, if we go back from back to 1953, there was the overthrow. If you guys recall, 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗏 overthrown by the CIA. So we have that from such a long time ago, and you can imagine that has a lot of history and tension there. Then moving forward to 1979, the Iranian Revolution happened, and then that led on to 1979 or 1980.
The story about the embassy.
Yeah, exactly. 1980, I think 1980, 1981.
Yeah, they're still very angry. It's
52 hostages, the 52 hostage crisis, and that's what Trump was tweeting about.
Yeah, the 52. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think David, you'll bring that tweet up for us after about what Trump actually said. Going back, Trump's going back to 1980 and then bringing up old wounds. Moving beyond that, you have 1985,
Something to mention. Trump is more than 70 years old. So for him, it's
Is he really that old?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like a 73 or something like that. So he's not so young. So for him, something like that, it's something he have lived this moment.
Yeah, that's a good
He was
point.
adult at this moment.
Yeah,
it's not like you
yeah.
are 40 now and you...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And beyond that, you have 1986, the Iran-Contra scandal, where US secretly shipped weapons to the Iranian government. Whatever the reasons may be, that's another discussion, but that scandal happened. I think it was Reagan at the time, the president. And there was a big scandal there that got him into big trouble. Was Reagan impeached? I'm forgetting. Was it Reagan who was impeached? I can't remember. Anyways, I think it might have been. Similar to Trump now that we're seeing. 1988, US shoot down Iranian passenger plane, killing mostly Iranian pilgrims to Mecca.
Yeah.
That was a tragic situation.
More than 200 people.
Yeah, 200 people. And I think most of them were pilgrims to Mecca. Iranian pilgrims to Mecca. That was a heartbreaking situation. 2002, President George Bush denounces Iran as part of the axis of evil. Everyone hears this term, axis of evil, coined by Bush in 2002.
He made link between Al-Qaeda and Iran.
Yeah, exactly.
He said that the same people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually,
and North Korea. It was at the same time he classed both of them axis of evil, North Korea and Iraq. That was President Bush. Beyond that, in the 2000s, you have US accuses Iran of building a nuclear weapons program. Then you have 2013, which is, I think this is a positive point. US and Iran close a nuclear deal, if you guys remember.
Yeah, it was 2015.
Was it 2015?
Yeah, exactly. The moment when they signed the...
Yeah, with Obama, they signed the nuclear deal. But then Trump comes along in 2018 and throws it out the window. That caused a big uprising and a lot of anger. And that's when the tensions really begun. That's when there's always been tensions, but that's when tensions escalated in our recent period.
But before Trump, at the moment when Obama came, he made the agreement with the Iranian. There's no tension.
It was good. It was a good situation. It was a good situation.
And the economy go up and everything go up. And
Trump just stomped his foot on it. And another point people are saying is Trump now with all these... Trump basically applying now maximum pressure. This is apparently his strategy, to apply maximum pressure to Iran, is to get them back in a place where he can negotiate a deal he wants and that he likes, to push Iran back into a place where that negotiation can start again. But that caused, of course, tensions. And then we have 2019, and that was the year of tension really going up the roof. US accusing Iran for the 6 oil tanker explosions.
Yeah.
Iran shoots down US military drone over the Strait of Hormuz, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it's just been worse and worse until we find ourselves now in our position. Assassination of Qasem Soleimani, and the situation getting much worse with Iran putting up the red flag of
𝗬𝗓𝗓.
The
𝗬𝗓𝗓 mosque in Qom.
Yeah, the red flag of vengeance, or the red flag of war. I don't know, I heard different terms. And that was something very symbolic and worrying. But if I can, so with that brief history, now we find ourselves in this context. How deep does the American-Iranian proxy go? We always hear this proxy war term. It's become something that everyone's talking about in these days, and it's something of course very legit and something that's very crude if one reads about it. This maneuver, it's a direct attack. Direct attack. There's no proxy involved here.
Now they break the proxy war.
But tell us a bit about the proxy, David.
They were doing proxy war in Syria, in a lot of places, in all the Middle East. Iran is the specialist of the proxy war in all Middle East. They never go themselves. Just, for example, in Syria, the Soleimani come to Syria to command the troop of the Syrian people and all the militia. But they don't send like the official army of Iran. Never. They don't say that. They're really the specialist of the proxy war. But now with this attack, the proxy war is broken.
You have proxy wars. You have with Assad. You have through Hezbollah,
Iraq,
through
everywhere in Lebanon,
through
also,
Yemen, the Houthis.
I agree.
Lebanon.
I mean, you have the Iranians have experience from the 80s. With Lebanon, with the war with Lebanon, and then they made Hezbollah. So they have more experience than anyone else. And Soleimani is the best guy at doing that in the Middle East.
Because he was in all this moment, he was there.
Yeah.
All of this.
Yeah. And now, Iran, if Iran decides to attack America, they won't. I highly doubt they will attack from Iran. They will use the militias in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, probably even in Africa. They have militias everywhere. I think that's how they will retaliate. They won't go head to head.
That's what people are worrying. Say now with this direct attack and such a bold attack on a key figure like Soleimani, people are worried now. The proxy days are over. And now we go into the new phase where we're having these confrontational, even if it doesn't go full out, as people are worried about.
I think
could be a new phase, a new era in terms of their war.
I think it all matters on the retaliation. If Iran, retaliates really, really heavy, Trump can't sit down and watch. Then America will retaliate really heavy, and then a war will start off. And Iran are finding themselves in a difficult situation if they do not retaliate. They've got a lot of these supporters who support this Soleimani guy. They're waiting for vengeance. And you got Khamenei coming out and also saying, we are going to avenge him. So something must happen. Something's definitely going to happen. It's just how big it is, and eventually it will probably lead into a war.
Inshallah not. I mean, we pray.
That's not sure. We don't know at this point what
it's not clear. But I just want to say we pray, and of course all the Muslims and anyone who has any belief in a higher power, we pray that the region doesn't spiral out of control.
No, of course.
And we can all be as optimistic as we want and say
because
we don't know.
We have nothing to win in that.
We have nothing to win. Nothing at all to win, and so much to lose, and that area, and especially the Iraqi people. I mean, we can talk about that region as a whole, but
Iraq they've
just
a poor country. They've never had any peace. It's just one war after another, after another.
Did you see that video yesterday? There was a guy, I think, posted it maybe in a group that we're in, where some guy has a piece of paper and he has Iraq in the middle. And he has these countries. He has all these countries surrounding Iraq, and he's written in the paper, and he's like, this country. And the way he's done it is really smart. Is this country problem with that country, so they attack this country, which is Iraq, and then this other country has a problem with that country, so they attacked Iraq. And he keeps going, and it's all legit what he's saying. It's usually just Iraq is there in the middle, just being bombarded left, right, and center. And we pray that Allah protects and relieves this nation from these problems. But I want to go into the point about Trump's strategy, because and what reactions we've seen now. So we have various things happening. We have a tweet from Trump, actually. I don't know if do you have that up, David, to read out for us? Trump actually tweeted something really
which
preposterous.
tweet is it?
The one when he brings up the hostages. He brings up the hostage situation. I don't have it here. If someone can find it so we can read it. Oh wait, I think I got it here. Yeah, here it is. I'll read it for you guys. Trump tweets, "Let this serve as a warning," capital letters, warning, all caps, "that if Iran strikes any Americans or American assets, we have targeted 52 Iranian sites, representing the 52 American hostages taken by Iran many years ago. Some at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture." That's the problem there, Iranian culture, he's saying. "And those targets and Iran itself," and this is all caps now, "will be hit very fast and very hard," all caps. I don't even know what to say to this. "The USA wants no more threats!" Exclamation mark. Trump tweeted, that's Trump's tweet, there we go. Trump's tweet on social media. I think there was a second part, but I don't have that here, but that was the main thing. I mean, just like, what a child. What an absolute child. I mean, I can understand from a nation's perspective that you need to show this, fierce side to your, the way you play politics, or in order to, pressure back and all this kind of stuff they do to try and this tug of war. But the way he does it is silly.
The thing is, people
it's immature.
I think people get on his nerves really quickly. It was the Iranian general that said we can target 35 different locations.
Wasn't that after?
No. It was before. It was before. One of the Iranian generals, I don't know, I think it's the new guy who took over from Soleimani.
It was just after the killing of Soleimani, right?
He said we're ready to target 35 different
American bases
in the Middle East. And I think that and then
Trump came back with this.
Trump
You know?
came back with this. Yeah, he goes,
It's like in the high school playground. This one comes out. This one comes out.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me
At
of
least do it through official means instead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like when kids go on and they show off to their friends, like, yeah, you look, I've got a better car than yours.
Yeah.
Trump is literally like that.
Really, I don't know. Like,
You know,
look, it's known he's a sociopath. Like, it's known.
Did you see his tweet for today's tweet that he has done?
No, I didn't see. Does what the one I read was that?
No, it's another one. It's just 13 hours ago.
Go on.
He says, like, okay, the United States just spent $2 trillion on military equipment. We are the biggest and by far the best in the world. If Iran attacks an American base or any American, we will be sending some of the brand new, beautiful equipment their way.
Yeah, and you got. I'm sure all the comments with the nationalists. Yeah, Trump greatest.
Yeah, of course.
This is people's lives, man. This is people's lives we're talking about.
I know.
I'm just the thing that gets to me in this tweet, specifically that one I wrote, is where he mentioned Iranian culture.
I know.
This is where people starting getting annoyed with him. This is going down the road of a war crime if you're targeting cultural things, you know.
Yeah.
And what I don't know what he's referring to. If we can only guess when he's talking about Iranian culture.
You can talk about a lot of things. They have a lot of monuments, a lot of cultural things, but he can talk also about shrine or holy place for us.
Those are the biggest cultural things that exist.
Politically, he's been very stupid. Few months ago, you know, these demonstrations, they started happening in Iraq. Most of the Shia started to hate, you know, the Iranian regime and their influence in Iraq. They even won. Imagine Karbala city, which is a strong Shia city. They came out and they burned down the Iranian consulate. That's how much they had enough of Iran. In Najaf city, that's another holy site, you know, another holy. They burned the Iranian embassy or consulate like 3 times. 3 times. So, you know, Iran was losing their influence in Iraq. Literally, they were losing their influence. For him to come and do this, now you get, you know, the Iraqi people they're a bit of emotional people. Their emotions are getting involved. You know, they're not looking at the bigger picture. The way they're looking at, oh my God, America just came into our country without permission.
I'm trying.
Did an airstrike, and now Iran is taking that advantage. Iran doesn't go to the Iraqi people and tell them, you know, they don't speak to them in that language where they say, you know, we're here for our personal interest. We came and defended you guys. We came to help you guys with ISIS for our own personal interest, to defend to beat ISIS in Iraq.
Just close to the mic, Sid. Close to the mic.
Because ISIS will get into ISIS after will start moving to Iran. They don't use that language. Iran will go there and they'll play with people's emotion. Oh, we came here to protect the holy sites of Karbala. We came here to protect the holy sites of Imam Ali. We came here to defend you guys. We came to defend your women.
At the same time,
they start using that language. And then, you know. And the people of Iraq, in the last year, they started to realize, you know, this was all a game. Iran's here for their own agendas. You know, there's no jobs. There's a lot of problems in Iraq. And for Donald Trump to go and do this move is just dumb. Trump now, he might have lost Iraq, to be honest.
That's why I want to say, like, I'm trying to figure out what, if there was a strategy, what was it? Because one of the things, you know, there's a phrase they call rally round the flag, when like a leader kind of makes a stance or declares war, or, you know, points at an enemy and says charge. The people generally, you'd see them rally round, and there's this like sort of unification of the people and this new found passion. But it seems like it's worked in the inverse. We seeing that more from Iran's side. We're seeing that more from Iran's side. If you're looking now, there's this sort of real like uprising of people coming together, commemorating Soleimani.
It's working.
It's like it's working in the inverse. So I don't know what their plan is, because it can't have been that. And I mean, anyone would have deduced that would be the case. It's not hard to figure out that would be the case. So
it
I don't know.
Support to Iran. That's good thing for them.
It seems to have been good thing for them.
Yeah, it might. The thing is, it could be Iran. Iran was probably itching for this to happen, to be honest. You know, after the sanctions Donald Trump did on Iran, Iran was, you know, a lot of people started turning against their own government. You know, people are starving. There's no jobs. There's no food. So Iran said, you know, Iran were then, I think it was Qasem Soleimani under his orders where they fired those rockets. And these things have been happening all the time. You know, every time America does something to Iran will piss them off. They'll go send, you know, a terrorist group in Afghanistan to do a little move to, you know, to piss them off, or in Iraq for a few missiles, or in Syria. And I think they just got on Donald Trump's nerves, and he just decided, he goes, you know what, I'm going to go take this guy out. And it was stupid.
You know why?
And it was really stupid.
Yeah. You know why? And maybe just not going off your topic, Sayyid. Something just came to me, which I was sitting at home the other day. Might have been this morning or yesterday, and I was going through different articles and whatnot, and I see one picture come up with Trump. We're doing a thumbs up. He's inside a car and he's doing a thumbs up, and he's got I think he's got glasses on, and you know he's wearing probably his golf outfit because he just come from golf, and you don't see all his face, like his shadow on a third of his face, and you see his face coming out from the shadows of the car, and he's got like a very sinister smile, and he's got a thumbs up, and he's playing golf. And this is during this period, during this mess now that's happened, during this chaos. He's gone off to play golf, and he's poking his head out of the cars with it's a very creepy smile. If you go look at the video, this is all a game for him. If you go look at that picture, I was looking and I was staring at it, and it hit me, and I was just like, this person is a sociopath. He is psychotic. He's insane. During all this chaos, he's got this creepy smile on. Thumbs up as well. Thumbs up. Like, yeah, come on. I don't know why this guy's still in the place he's in.
You've got a lot of crazy people at the moment. You've got our Prime Minister now, Boris Johnson,
who is on holiday for 12 days. Yeah.
He's gonna definitely join in. You've got Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, who's been itching for this. He's definitely gonna join in.
These psychotic leaders.
You've got another psychotic leader who butchered someone in an embassy, in a foreign country's embassy,
and everyone continued on with their lives like nothing happened.
Yeah, the Saudi Arabia, and you've got the Emirati, Prince King, wherever he is. He's itching for this war, and you've got Khamenei, who's another lunatic. What do you expect? What do you expect to happen? It's going to be a war, 100%, from my opinion, anyway.
I mean, it seems like the leaders are becoming more. The leaders that are elected are becoming more and more psychotic. I mean, before you had criminals taking the place of leadership, but they at least you could say they were sane to some degree. You know, they presented themselves in a proper way, but now it's like they're criminals, but they're also mentally ill and they're psychotic. This is like representing the illness that's spreading in this world. The more secular and further away from Allah and further away from religion as a whole, the more illnesses. I'm talking about mental and spiritual illnesses, and that's kind of being mirrored over into who we're electing for our leaders.
Yeah,
you could never imagine someone like Trump being elected 20 years ago, but now it's something very possible. Very real. But Brother Ahmed, do you have any questions from YouTube? We've neglected YouTube chat. I feel a bit bad.
Well, there is one brother asked a question, and he said, "What is our view on Soleimani? Was he a genuinely observant Muslim?"
Well, I mean, I think maybe you have some words on this, Ahmed. But our stance is known. We don't support America, and we don't support Iran or their generals or anyone that is acting on their behalf. We don't support either, and we have the statement of Sheikh Al-Habib here in English. I'll read it out in a moment, but that's our stance really. And this is maybe something important to mention, and I will mention this because again, our channel is a religious channel. We're primarily focused on religion. We are doing this topic today regarding politics because it's just so relevant and important, and it influences and affects the Shia in that region and worldwide.
All of the Shia, basically.
And even the non-Shia, I mean, again, in the sense that we care about all innocent people. But we will not go into the next life with the support of criminals on our shoulders. And it's an important thing for the Shia to keep in mind that our religion has taught us not to compromise and support people just because they call themselves Shia. To call yourself Shia, to act as a Shia, to represent the Shia religion, or to say you represent the Shia religion isn't enough to earn our support. And when I say our, I mean us as the general masses, the general Shia across the globe. Whoever we direct our support to, we give them the power. The power comes from us supporting them. They don't come inherently with power or power given to them directly by Allah, like the 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗏 or authority. Sorry. So we should be careful who we give our support to. Our stance is clear, and our stance has always been clear, and we've maintained this stance and in this here that we do not support Khamenei. We do not support the Iranian regime. We support the masses in Iran, the general population in Iran. We love them and we support them, and we hope for the best for that country as well as the Iraqi nation. But likewise, we don't support the Iraqi government. We don't support the American government, of course. We don't support the American government. We don't support the British government. We don't support Israel. We don't support as well Hamas at the same time. We don't support any of these groups. They are all, and it's very clear. One doesn't need to be an expert in these areas to know they are all criminals in this area. And at the same time, because we are against, or because we do not support the Iranian regime, or we do not support Khamenei, does that mean we support Trump's attack on Soleimani? No, of course not.
No.
That attack was reckless. That attack was irresponsible, and it was something very, very wrong. But yeah, is there another question, Ahmed, or shall I go into Sheikh?
I mean, just to elaborate on Soleimani, people, the Shia, they really need to understand. I mean, Iran, everything they're doing is for their own political interests. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, how can you not see it? I mean, if you look at Soleimani in the years back, he was in Afghanistan. He was supporting one of the terrorists. He's got a picture, in fact, one of these terrorists.
Who's this?
What's his name, Ahmed? This terrorist guy that killed a lot of Shia.
Ahmed Shah Massoud.
Ahmed Shah.
I missed who is
very like in the
Soleimani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soleimani was supporting this guy, and this guy massacred the Shia. Massacred. But people don't know about this. You know, the Shia, they don't actually see this. They just say, oh, God, look, Soleimani came in, he helped us defeat ISIS, this and that. Okay, if you want to use this logic, all right, look at, George Bush came in, and he got rid of Saddam. If it wasn't for George Bush, Saddam would still be in power.
Do we support George Bush now?
No.
I'm with you.
I'm not supporting. Yeah, we don't support George Bush. Yeah, for George Bush came in and he got rid of Saddam Hussein for you. Then you were allowed to come into Iraq. If it wasn't for George Bush, you wouldn't have stepped a foot in Iraq. Soleimani wouldn't have stepped a foot in Iraq. No one would have stepped a foot in Iraq. So what? We're gonna say, oh Lord, protect George Bush for the savior of Iraq. He came in to help us. And come on, like just leave your emotions aside. Literally, ask all the Shia, leave your emotions aside, and just use your logic.
The rational thing, which you're trying to say.
No, it's not only that. And fair enough. Soleimani, Iran, they did help Iraq, the Iraqi people, to defeat ISIS. But then what? You turn around and you want 10 times more in return? Iran comes and helps you, and then they want 10 times more in return. We want this, we want that, we want this. And then they,
Yeah, just like any other political parties from any other country.
But Iran are demanding too much.
Yeah.
They're demanding too much. They've taken over Iraq. They've literally taken over Iraq.
Well, that's their plan.
I think say the rational thing that the Shia need to do, and all people need to do, is it can be possible that you can identify the good things the person has done without becoming biased and allowing that good thing to make a decision in terms of that whole personality and that whole character. We as Shia, we denounce Umar ibn Khattab, we denounce the caliphate, the false caliphate system that came beyond. But they did spread Islam in many places, in many regions, forgetting the method they're doing. That specifically is something that could be argued. Islam reached various places across the world. Now, do we accept them as people? This is the point. As Shia, we have this principle. We know this thing that a character is judged overall. We don't take a specific angle and a specific thing they've done, no matter how grand that thing might be. If we look at the overall person and make our judgments in line with the teachings of Ahlul-Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. I want to read Sheikh's statement here, and just one sentence from me before I do, is that let us be careful. We don't want to enter the next life with blood on our hands for supporting criminals and supporting mass murderers. So let's be careful with that point, and inshallah, may Allah guide us all. Shaykh Al-Habib's statement here, I'll read it and I'll see if brothers or anyone in the YouTube chat has any comments. I'm gonna push you again, Ahmed. Have a skim through the YouTube chat if you find anything interesting.
Sure, of course. I'll let you know.
To the viewers generally, we did get a good reaction from the Q&A podcast we done last time. So we'll be doing one. Hopefully, the plan is to do one once a month or once every 2 months. It's not clear. Hopefully, we'll announce that, and we'll be more interacting with you guys on the chat in future podcasts. Shaykh Al-Habib's statement here. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وعجل فرجهم ولعن أعداءهم أجمعين. Several questions have reached us with regards to the Sheikh's stance towards the recent American strike that targeted Iranian and Iraqi military leaders surrounding Baghdad International Airport. Sheikh Al-Habib condemns violent operations that lead to ignite the fire of war and expose oppressed nations to their calamities. And he considers the recent American strike as being such a reckless operation. He considers similarly the provocative strikes performed by the Iranian regime and its proxies in Iraq and the region. He condemns both parties simultaneously and directs a message to both the rampant Trump and the tyrant Khamenei. The souls of, and this is the quotation here, the souls of innocents are not a game, says Sheikh Al-Habib. You may combat each other and clear your accounts far from the nations of the region. He hopes that the level of adamancy, end quote there, he hopes that the level of adamancy in both quarreling parts does not reach the level of entering the region into a new sequence of devastating war whose price will be paid by the innocents and the weak. He warns that turning Iraq into a field of vengeance and clearing accounts between quarreling parts, Iraq is sufficient with what it already has. He supplicates to Allah, the All-High, the All-Omnipotent, to hasten the relief of our Master, the awaited Mahdi. May Allah's blessings be upon him. In order that the whole world may be graced with safety, justice and peace, the office of Shaykh Al-Habib, the minor land of Fadak. That Shaykh's statement, translated by Shaykh Basil, may Allah reward him. Thank you for translating that for us. And in my view, a balanced statement. And this is really the position that we all Shia should take.
Yeah.
And this is a position that one doesn't need Sheikh's statement to reach this conclusion. That we do not support either sides, that they are both criminals, and that they shouldn't stop these games as it's not a game. The lives of innocent souls, as Sheikh Habib mentions, is not a game.
Yeah.
And this is simple stuff. It's not complicated. I really wish and pray the Shia will be more level-headed in their conclusions. And really, one does not have to take a side, unless there's a side that we can really say represents justice and justice of Ahlul-Bayt alayhim salam. So I don't know if anyone had comments on Sheikh's statement, or if Ahmed had any questions here. What is your opinion on the Iraqi protester who celebrated the death of those two generals? Are these generals considered martyrs for the way they died? OG Misfits represent. Our opinion on the Iraqi protesters who celebrated the death of these two generals. These Iraqi protesters who celebrate the death have a right to do so. I've seen online some people really having a go at them. Why? Again, people celebrating these two generals' deaths doesn't mean that they support the act of America being alive anymore. If there's people in that region that have suffered through their hands, or they've seen their their country become more unstable, or they've seen negative repercussions, or they've seen Iranian influence in their country that they are not happy with, then they should very well be happy. And why shouldn't they celebrate? And at the end of the day, our position is clear that we do not support either side, including the side of these two generals that you referred to. And yeah, I'm a Catholic, but always respected the Shia Muslims. I have nothing against Iran, Red Pill. That's another comment there. Entire Pakistani nation. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's from Michael, and he had another question earlier. He asked us, what do we think is best for Iran? What do you want from Iran?
What do we want from Iran? What do we want from Iran, guys? I just add a comment from Michael. He said, I do not take Trump's side, but I am curious as to what you all have against the leadership of Iran. Now, this topic isn't about us to have a go at Iran or to explain the situation of Iran. That's a whole other podcast that we can have. But
well, if it's a quick,
brief.
yeah.
Go on, go ahead.
Okay, Iran is just like.
Sorry, what was the initial question he had? It was what do we want from Iran? Answer.
Yeah,
go for that one. What do you want from Iran? Say right now in this situation, what should Iran do in front of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala? What should they do?
I mean, don't.
It's tricky. It's difficult.
Pull out from Iraq. Let these countries live in peace. Look after your people. Give freedom to your people. Let them live their lives. Stop this tyranny. Let a lot of there's a lot of prisoners in Iran. A lot of Ayatollahs are in prison in Iran.
Yeah.
People don't know that. People think the world. Everyone thinks the Shia, all of the Shia are with Iran. No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. Iran is a dictatorship country. The tyrant Khamenei is a tyrant. He massacred a lot of people. I mean, you can go on. The list is really, really
I think
big.
the thing that Iran can do, and yeah, say it is right, because we will actually address this topic fully in an upcoming podcast on Iran. This is something a lot of people asked from us. And to Michael, please stay tuned into future episodes. We will be doing this, but I think Iran needs to change its agenda from, instead of trying to force itself as the power and authority in that region, it needs to take a step back, reconsider what it's trying to do and the effects and repercussions of that. How far is it willing to go in order to gain dominance in that region? And really rethink that and aim for peace. Peace is the way forward. If their agenda is peace, you'll see their strategy will change. Their agenda right now isn't peace.
Yeah.
Their agenda is dominating that region. That's clear. This is known. Go to any analyst, go to any party other than those who are diehard supporters of Iran, and you can know when you see a diehard support of Iran online, you can tell, because it's just so biased and just so fantastical the way they describe Iran as this from some holy, infallible regime. That's obviously highly exaggerated.
One simple, very simple thing, just to answer this question. For us as a Shia, if you criticize Iran, automatically they'll say you're an agent.
Yeah, there is no acceptance of difference of opinion.
They say, everyone has heard the chants of Iran, death to America, death to America. The whole world knows about this.
Which is very wrong.
Did you know they say death to anyone who doesn't follow the Ayatollah?
Who doesn't support Ayatollah?
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't follow their Ayatollah Khamenei, death to him.
Yeah.
They say that. I mean, if we got a video, we can show this to the people.
Unfortunately, we haven't got that.
They're saying death to all of us here. Anyone who's a Shia who doesn't follow Khamenei, they say death to you.
I think death to those who oppose it specifically, which would count
we all
us.
oppose it. We all oppose it.
We oppose it. We do oppose it.
I don't believe you're the representative of the Imam. You're the representative of all the Muslims.
Yeah.
If you're Khamenei claims he's the representative of all Muslims, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you are the representative of all Muslims, look what China is doing to the Muslims.
Michael,
Why don't you say nothing to the Chinese?
Michael, you've set Sayyid Mahdi on fire now.
Why?
Say,
Why doesn't Khamenei make any statement about China? There is, I don't know, they said
China.
1 million, 2 million,
China.
2 million Muslims in China. Yeah,
China.
in China. Yeah, they're
You
in
haven't seen
prison.
that by Trump,
They're in
China.
prison. Yeah.
He loves China. Trump loves talking about China.
Yeah.
I want to finish off with David here. David, I want to ask you a question that came through via WhatsApp. A viewer asks, will Russia and China, and sorry, Sayyid, I have to say to you,
Yeah, sure.
we're going to be dealing with Iran soon. I tell you that, inshallah ta'ala. Will Russia and China get sucked into this and get themselves involved in another global war? Final question here, David, wrap it up for us.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because first of all, we're not gonna go for World War III. We'll not go for that. Just maybe some conflict in the region, but no, of course not. The Russia and China, they will not step in.
But aren't Russia and China competing as world powers against USA? Isn't this an opportunity for them to weaken USA?
They make business with both of them, with Iran and USA. So they have no interest of them to step in this conflict. If you watch out the reaction of the China president or Xi Jinping and Putin now, they stay very silent. They're very quiet actually about that.
Because they got benefits from both sides.
Yeah.
But if they were to ditch one,
they will never choose one. That's the kind
They will
of
never choose one over the other.
They are very important country. They have a lot of power. So they don't need to choose someone. They just choose their interest. That's all. So they will not step in. You're 100% sure they will not step in.
Well, that's David's conclusion. World War III not on the plate, not on the table.
I think Russia and China will help Iran by supplying them with weapons, supplying them with intelligence. That's how far it goes. I highly doubt for them to come in and bring in troops and physically get involved in with this war with Iran.
Yeah.
Well,
Ahmed,
UK Prime Minister, he just released a short statement.
Yeah.
That, of course, I think from his holiday, saying that we will not lament the Iranian general's death.
wait, sorry, what's he saying?
He said that we will not lament over the Iranian general's death.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but however, same time, we would ask for the matter to de-escalate.
Say that last part again. We will
Same time, he is calling for de-escalation.
right.
Over the issue in the
Right.
in Middle East.
The most sensible thing Boris Johnson said.
Which depends what in whose term. In Trump's term, de-escalation means bomb Iran and all its military bases.
That's why I'm saying if America decides to go to war with Iran, we're getting sucked in 100%. The UK will join in.
Trump said we killed Soleimani to prevent a war, not start one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know how that makes sense.
There's no sense of that.
But yeah, we'll wrap it up here, guys. David saying no World War III. Sayyid Mahdi, I believe, saying the same, and maybe so is Ahmed Shakuri, if I remember correctly. We don't really know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. We've seen certain things happen in the past few days, and we
just hope nothing happen.
We hope nothing happens. We hope it blows over.
We say, may Allah protect all the people worldwide, and whoever's gonna die in this war. If something happens, may God protect all of them. And protect all mankind from this tragedy that will happen very soon.
Definitely. May Allah protect all the civilians in that area, all the innocent people, the men, women and children. And we ask all the viewers, make dua. Dua is our weapon, and it's something that
may Allah hasten the appearance.
May Allah hasten the appearance of Imam Mahdi. And that's the real solution. That's the real solution is our Imam, alayhi salatu wasalam. The one who can solve the world problems we face is no one but other than him. And we need to fulfill our part as usual. We advise the viewers to do everything you can to hasten the appearance of the Imam, alayhi salatu wasalam. If you're interested in knowing how, check out our channel. We have many videos on this topic and many more to come. Thank you for joining us today on the Rafida Roundtable, and we'll see you next time. Iman Allah.
Iman.
ننشر السلام في الأرجاء ونعمر الأقطار. العزيمة منا نهدم الشرور بالأعلاء لمعالم الأخيار بالله بمحمد بن علي بفاطمة بالحسن بالحسين بالأئمة الأطهار